could be your sanctuary if you're ready tonight. I know that it's all so heavy. Won't you let me inside? 'Cause I could be your sanctuary.
What's up guys, hope everyone is doing well. In this video I'm going to be going over some updates for Bitcoin, but go ahead and get it started here. It's been a while since I've updated this chart with all these moving averages that I have, but each of these 4 black arrows, they line up with the 15 and the 13 estimated moving averages crossing below the 50 moving average, and then the 5 blue arrows line up with the 15 and 13 EMA, reclaim the 50 EMA. The losing of the 50 MA of these 2 estimated moving averages basically lines up with around halfway into the, roughly halfway, it's not always halfway, but you know, some period of time into the bear market where we start to really see the major dump or some sort of final dump. And then the blue curly, as you can see, line up with, after we've seen some sort of a bullish transition from setting the bear market lows, we then see this flip, and then the rest of the bull market, as you can see here, clearly ensues. When it comes to the time measurement tools down here, these are also some one over recent regarding to end of August, pushing early beginning of November. Each of these ranges going back to 2012, 2016, and 2020, each of these times lined up with fantastic opportunities to buy leading into a bull market, or the majority of the bull market that was more parabolic rather than seeing prior to that some sort of a transition, slow bullish buildup to seeing an actual full-on bull market. Now, these green areas, with regards to my phase cycle theory, again, let's to quickly say it, June of 2011 around $30 to December of 2017 around $20,000. That is cycle 2. What we see right here is this W double bottom leading into the second bottom being set with respect to the range of mid-February to late April. We fast forward to cycle 3, we're seeing the beginning of cycle 3, we're seeing our W right here. It's a little bit elongated because the phases and the cycles are lengthening over time because Bitcoin is just decaying and losing its strength. We see the same thing happen here. We're setting the final bottom, second bottom of the double bottom here, phase 1, mid-February into late April. That is synonymous with the March crash that most of you I assume are familiar with. And then in terms of the phase cycle structure and the integrity of what I'm talking about, I'm seeing basically the same cycles of Bitcoin repeating over time. They're just taking longer. The bull markets are less bullish, bear markets are less bearish. These green boxes are technically synonymous to each other in terms of that structure. When it comes to the yellow ranges, they are technically the same thing as the black ranges, just a little bit different. I mean, they still line up with the same period of time, later August leading into early November, back here for 2013, and then right here most recently, currently, late August, early November. What's interesting is, like I just pointed out with these green boxes, we saw a time confluence with the beginning of the latter half of phase 1, where we see that lightning bolt, that bullish build up into the lightning bolt. And then we see the same thing because these yellow ranges, again, to the way the green and the relationship they had, are synonymous with each other as well. We can, again, like I said, see August, late November, leading into carrying out this final leg of this ABCD pattern. That's exactly what we're seeing right here. Again, obviously it looks clearly different, and the reasons for that are pretty apparent. Like I've been saying, lengthening of cycles, etc. When it comes down to the time measurements down here, for the most part, we're essentially seeing the same thing. It's a little bit different, but I mean, even if we go back to the very beginning of Bitcoin, the first candle of this index chart goes back to around September of 2009. Bitcoin was around a little bit longer before that, but we can still see here, going back to August with the same range I've been saying, this lines up right as we were building into the very first cycle that Bitcoin had when it got shot up to around $30, $35 or so in 2011. But then again, just to update this RSI down here, we are still holding above. We've already met the most oversold range down here, as I've done every single time beforehand. We've printed the pink vector candles that you can see here on the chart towards the lows. As long as we hold this white range right here and we continue to trade above it and continue to move eventually ultimately into this blue range, the bull market is still technically what is obviously in quotes confirmed. Who knows what's going to happen? But all things considered, it seems like the bull market is on the way rather than seeing something Bitcoin reach prices below 15.4 thousand. When it comes to this chart, I find this one very interesting. So these black ranges, or the black horizontal lines rather, this is just lining up with the halfway point of the downside retracement, and that goes for each of these bear markets we see on here. So what I did was, because this triangle was synonymous, so the first triangle is synonymous with the third triangle, what I did was is I took a line and drew it up from the first black horizontal line to the second, and then did that for the third one to the fourth one. You can see that this area right here, if I zoom in, this one's not perfectly exact. Wick was was right to the upper white line right here, but for all intents and purposes, you can see that this retracement right here basically bottomed out with respect to this white horizontal zone. And like I was saying, this area right here is synonymous to this triangle that we're seeing right here. And we can see that I did the same thing, and then it's also lining up with the halfway range with respect to the vertical line. Just using that as another reason to say that the 15.4 thousand was actually the bear market low, and then also on top of that is bringing in the phase cycle structure that I talk about on this channel. What I want to update here before I get to that chart is that just to show this on the higher time frame, like I've been saying, I mean, if we lose 24 to 25,000, 22 to 23,000 is the next, and if we lose that, $20,000 is really the bottom of bull market support, rather, in my personal opinion. I think as long as that is held, there's really no reason to worry that or think that things are going to go below 15 or even retest 15.4 thousand. We are coming down and testing the 200 EMA right here, the white moving average, like we did back in June. So, I mean, there's still plenty of potential that we bottom out here. We could kind of come and meet this descending support a little bit more, which really encompasses going down to around, depending upon how late it happens, really 21,000. Eventually at some point, you know, leading into November, it would start to hit 20,000. So that brings me to this chart, the 12-hour chart. Again, we see the same descending range. We could find support here. Either we hold this green box, which is correlated to 25,000 being held, and we kind of fulfill this wick we made back here around August 17th. As I've been going over this channel here recently, just kind of showing the potential patterns we could take out. Either we're going to see a top around the halving, a little bit before, a little bit after, basically coinciding with the halving, defeating or kind of deviating from the trend we've been seeing with the recent halvings, or we will see something similar where we'll go sideways, go down, leaning into the halving. Halving is going to be bullish, like I've been saying. So to go back to this chart, this pink path has us going all the way down to 20,000 as early as around first, second week of October. Or again, like I said, we hold 25,000, we bounce from there. So it takes me to this chart, this weekly chart. It's completely possible that we could see Bitcoin just really fall off the cliff rather quickly here, leading into even as late as basically just sometime September or October. Bitcoin could hit 20,000 and then still have enough time to bounce up. Like I personally think things are more likely to happen where we top out with respect to the halving, where we start to reach this top range around late February and it ends around late May, still respecting the halving range like I've been saying recently. And like I said, if I drew this out to start a little bit more around, when we go sideways around late October, that puts the high range starting around late March, pushing late June. I mean, it still roughly respects the halving. Like I was saying in my recent video, I mean, the upcoming top could be a little bit before the halving range, March, April, May. It could kind of line up with respect to that, or it could happen a little bit after as well. But really the main thing about this video that I wanted to get across is that, I mean, at this point, anything is on the table. Like I always say, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We could blow straight through 20,000 and blow straight through 15.4 thousand for who knows what reason. But at the end of the day, I am personally right now just leaning more towards holding 24 to 25,000. If we lose that, next is 22 to 23 and then 20,000 worst case scenario. And I mean, like I was saying, going back to this chart, and this chart right here, I mean, we could see this be a quick drop to 20,000 and still top out early next year. But all of that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, none of this is financial advice. By all means, don't listen to me. Come to your own conclusions, make your own decisions based upon your own research. and the evidence that you find most compelling. But all that being said, everything gone over, hopefully you're able to take away something from this educationally. You're able to learn something, but I hope you all have a blessed day.
Ooh, I'm crying now.